welcome to all the Jaguar enthusiasts. We've made the frame for the inside of the XK. I've seen a few made by other people and where they've mounted it. We've done it a little bit different, but I still think it'll do the job, and we might have to, once we start taking off the old sills and the old bead posts, we might have to maybe strengthen up a little bit, but this is a pretty good starting point. And Amir, the man that helps me out, he helps me in the garden because we have quite a large garden here, and he's a very good mechanic too. And he helps me out. He does kind of a couple of weeks on and a couple of weeks off. So one of the things that came up, as I've told you, I can't reply to any comments. So if you just contact me on davejaguar66@gmail.com to make a comment. You know, I'm just not I'm not very good with computers. They just, I don't know, I just seem to have problems trying to get the things to work properly. I'm okay when they work fine and they're set up right, but the minute I have to start putting in passwords and things, I'll just forget them all, like most people do. But Martin Butler on Resto Restorer, I watch his channel, very funny. And he does a lot of good videos on mowers and all kinds of stuff, and very helpful. And he sent me a comment, and I couldn't go back to him on that, and it was about these spot weld cutters. And what he said on the comment was, you know, do I pre-drill the holes? What I tend to do is, because if you pre-drill the hole, you have to go right through the metal, so you end up with an actual hole. And the whole point of the spot weld cutter is that you don't cut through into the lower metal, because when you're filling it back up again, you know, you don't want to be filling up this little hole. In some cases you have to do it because it'll just spin off. You know, when you're turning it, it'll just spin so quickly it'll go off. What I tend to do though is use a centre punch and centre punch them. Obviously not too hard because you don't want to dent the panel, but just centre punch them. And that tends to be enough, and especially if this spring, they're fairly new, because they're spring loaded. There's a spring ball bearing on the shaft, and what you tend to do with these, because they wear fairly quickly, even though you can turn the cutter face over, you sometimes have to resharpen this point. And so what happens then is the rod gets smaller and smaller, and then there's not so much tension on it. And as you can see, this is a brand new one, and the tension is very strong. So that's just a little tip there. Okay, I'll show you. I'll pick the camera up now, and I'll show you where we've got to with the where these we put these bars in to support the body when it's actually off the chassis. Now, all the repairs we do now will be done on the chassis, because obviously, even though I'm getting a new chassis, there will be approximately the same place, you know, so I want to use the chassis as it's the backbone of the car basically, and without these bars inside it, support bars, you could potentially bend the car, banana it. So anyway, I'll show you what we've done, and you can tell me what you think. So I'll pick it up and we'll kind of have a look. So what we've done is we've made these box sections here, and we've actually bolted them to this frame. We've bolted it to this bulkhead, and we've made it larger box section with a bolt through it. And the reason for that is, if we're doing some work, if you weld these in, you're kind of stuck where the bars are. You can see them on both sides there. So what we've done is bolted them to there, and then made this section, this box section, and bolted them to here. So you can see it's very, very rigid. Whether I'd lift it on them is another matter, but certainly to keep the door gaps and the front bulkhead and the rear bulkhead together, it's good. So what we've done is, instead of making one bar, we've made a bigger box section with a bolt through it. So if for some reason we can't get in, it's only a matter of undoing these bolts down here on this plate, and then this has got a bit of a gap in the front, so this has a slight gap in the front, so you can actually push it forward and take it out. So all you'd be left with is that, so it only takes 2 bolts to get it off. which I think is not a bad idea. It was actually an idea Amir came up with, this man that works with me, and I think that's going to work quite well. But we've now taken out all the battery boxes. Hopefully you can see there. We've taken out all the battery boxes, which were in pretty rough condition, but again, I'd already bought them in. And actually, I'll get the torch. But there was a little tip here, and I got this from Paul in Classic. They're called. Hang on, I'll have to find the torch. Excuse me a minute for this. You can tell they're not scripted, these videos. Maybe I can show you better there. Yeah. No, not without the light. Where is that torch gone? Anyway, where's the torch? It's normally on the wall. Okay, can't find it. Anyway, there's in there. Maybe it'll light up. I don't know. That's annoying. There's actually a thing here which has two holes in it, and it's for the master cylinders. You can just see it there now. For the master cylinder for the brake and the clutch. And when they reproduced these, because they're done for left and right hand drive, they actually put this and reproduced it on the same side. And rather than being, you can see one is up and one is down, but they put this same configuration where this one's up and down on the other side, on the left hand side, and didn't think about it should actually be the other way around. So if you're ever going for a chassis, make sure that they are in the right places. So yeah, so all the battery boxes are out. Basically everything is off. And you can see again there, all the battery boxes out, but I have them new. It's actually in a lot better condition than I thought it would be. I mean, you can see there in the box sections, it's actually quite good. I don't know if again without the torch if it will show up, but even inside I don't think it will show up. No, it won't. I'll have to get the torch, guys, when I do the next video and show it you. So the next mission is, we'll take the doors off, and then I've got new bearings, new hinges, not the metal of the hinge, but the actual bearing it runs on. We'll replace them and put the doors back on again as they are. And obviously you can see we've taken everything out, so nice and light. There's virtually hardly any weight in them now. Then we'll fit them back on. But as you can see there, what we're up against there, it's very nice, got a nice finish there. But as you can see there, the gaps are too tight, especially there. You see how it's almost touching? And when you're doing these bodies, and same with the E-type, it's very important that you leave enough gap, because by the time you put the paint on, the high build primer, paint, or primers, paint, clear coat and so on, you're building up quite a layer. People don't realise it's that thick, and it is. So this will have to be all redone. You can see it's too tight down there. And if you look at the door, you can see how many spaces there are in there. There's 1, 2, 3 at the top, and God knows how many at the bottom. There, it looks like there's, I don't know, 6 or 8 in there. So you imagine how far that door's got to be out. Anyway, when I take it off, I'll do another video. And but hopefully you like the idea of the supports. It will need something, I think, lower down, but I want to make it so that the frame can be taken out easy enough to put a larger piece in, and not have to unpick the welding or cut the welding out. So I'll probably come up with some other idea for this bottom section. The other type I've seen is where they use this hinge here when the door's off, and they come across, what do they do? I think they come across here somewhere. Yes, they go straight across to this B post here, from there to here, and then about here they drop down to the bottom. From here they come up at an angle onto it to support the door frame, or to support the door distance. Anyway, that's what we've got so far, and as I say, if you like the videos, just please subscribe or pass it around to your friends. It would be nice to get